Test.
It's from tomorrow, na sir?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think yes, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, guys. So today we are going to discuss about one of the very popular and important software testing technique. Okay, so black box testing technique. Okay, so we'll discuss what is black box testing technique and the what are the different types. Okay, even black box testing also it contains the different types, and we'll see their examples and the types. So, as the name indicates, black box. Black box means as we cannot see the inner details. Okay. So, black box testing is a software testing method in which the functionality of the software application, the functionality of the software application are tested. Functionality means, for example, the login functionality or some like suppose if there is a button or these radio buttons, checkbox. Okay, so the functionality of the software applications are tested without having the knowledge of code. Okay, code knowledge is not required. Okay, but nowadays, like by using some of the tools and all, at least you should have some basic knowledge like C program, any programming language. Okay, but even without the programming knowledge, also we can go for the testing and implementation details and internal path. So black box testing is mainly focuses on the input and output of the software application, and it is entirely based on software requirement specification. It is also known as behavioral testing. Black box testing is also called as behavioral testing, and white box testing that we call as structural testing. Okay, white box means we can see the inner details, but in black box testing it is also known as behavioral testing. Okay, you may get in MCQ which of the following are the alternative name of black box testing. Okay, behavioral testing, structural testing. Okay, structural testing means it is for the white box testing. Okay, so here as the diagram you can see there is the input. Okay, then output. We are focusing more mainly on the input and output of the functionality, not inner details of the black box. Okay, so black box can be any software system that you want to test. For example, the systems like Windows operating system or the Google, the database like Oracle, even any other custom applications that you can test. So under the black box testing, you can test these applications by focusing on input and output. For example, as in the Google, okay. So in this particular Google page, okay. So this is the text field. So you will search about any details, okay. So when you search for any detail, you will get a response, okay. For example, if you are searching for the Wipro registration, Wipro recruitment test registration, then you will get that particular link. That is the expected output. So you are not going in detail about what is the code and all, how it is processing, how the page rank algorithm it works. Okay, that we are not bothering about all the details. We are providing an input, and with respect to the input, we are expecting some output. Okay. So how to go for the black box testing? Black box testing, there are some steps are there like initially the requirement specification, initially the The software requirements and specification of the systems are examined, and testers whose valid means some positive test scenario to check whether the software under the application test is it process them correctly, and also test with some invalid inputs. Okay, for example, here there is a particular like for example railway reservation. Okay, a railway reservation system. So here you need to book for the number of seats. So in number of seats, if you it is a range of like 1 to 6 members only you can book. One to six seats only you can book. So what are the valid? If the valid inputs are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So these are the valid inputs. Okay. And if you have provided -1, 0, okay, -10, 7, 8, what are those? These are the invalid inputs. These are the invalid inputs. Okay. So this is very important to find out the valid input and valid output. Okay. Then tester determines the expected output. Okay. So once we provide the seat number from 1 to 6, what is the expected output? The seat it should accept the number of seats, and we will proceed for the next page for the payment and all. Okay. So that is our expected output. So software tester constructs the test cases with the selected inputs. So the test cases are executed, and software tester compares the actual output. This is very important. Software testing means on what basis you test. That is based upon the test scenario, test cases, with comparing actual output with the expected output. This is very important. Actual output and expected output. So defects, if any, are fixed and retested. So that is the how we can go for the black box testing. Okay. So the black box testing mainly focus on the requirements and specification that we are testing. For example, here the number of seats for the railway reservation. Choose valid inputs, valid outputs, valid input and invalid inputs, and expected and actual outputs. Okay. So what are the types of black box testing? There are many types of black box testing, but there are some important, like for example the functional testing, the functionality, the functions of the software, functional testing. Then non-functional testing. Okay, functional testing, non-functional testing. So can anyone tell what are the non-functional testing? Some examples. Yes, Tejasri Margam. Tejasri, row number 36. Row number 36. Yeah, can you tell me what are the non-functional testing? Functional testing, non-functional. Give me some example. Yes, do it fast. Yes, Abhishek. Abhishek Kansetti.
Yes, sir. So in functional testing means there we check our all the functionality and features, sir, it is working properly or not.
Okay.
And in non-functional testing, it is more related to what you can say performance or hardware related means which are not related to functionality. You can say that which are not related to features. So in that case, there come under hardware also comes under there, performance also comes under there. So that things we check in non-functional testing.
Yes. Okay, like for performance, scalability, and usability, user interface. That is non-functional testing. Okay. and functional testing that deals with the features of software application. And regression testing is done after the code fix. Okay, so once the codes are the defects are detected, and after fixing those defects, okay, so that is called as regression testing. So these are the main important type of black box testing. And there are tools that used for the functional testings are like a QTP, okay, Selenium, as it is there in your syllabus, Selenium testing tool. These are the functional testing, Selenium testing tool, okay. And non-functional testing, that is a loader, load runner, JMeter, and all. These are the some non-functional testing that we use for testing the application. These are all the tools that we can categorize. It is a black box testing type. Okay. Even Selenium, it is also used to use for the black white box testing also. White box testing also. In Selenium, there are different types are there. Selenium IDE, Selenium WebDriver, and all. Okay. So for both, for black box testing and white box testing, for both we use the tool. Then black box testing techniques. Okay, black box testing types are different. Okay, what are the types? Functional testing, non-functional testing. Okay, regression. Those are the types. Okay, functional testing, non-functional testing, and regression testing. Those are the types. Okay, and what are the techniques? Techniques are different. Okay, black box testing techniques are different. So this is very important. Techniques means strategy. Okay. Following are the prominent test strategy amongst the many used in the black box testing. Okay. See, for like the for any goal or any preparation, for example, consider your placement preparation only. Everyone is having their own strategy. Okay. As Madhuri is having their own strategy, Tejasri is also having their own strategy. Abhishek is also having his own strategy. Okay. So in black box testing, these are some testing techniques: equivalence class testing, boundary value testing, and decision table testing. These are the different testing technique. These are the different testing technique that we use for the to to process or to do the testing in a very faster manner. Okay, so first we'll see with the example so that you will understand clearly. uh, Before going to this white box testing concepts. Okay, so we'll see some example so that you will understand what actually the okay, what are the types: equivalence class partitioning, boundary value analysis, right? So equivalence class partitioning, let us consider a behavior of order pizza text box. Okay, so this is a field. Okay, this is the field, order the pizza. So pizza values, that is 1 to 10, are considered as valid, and a success message is shown, while the value 11 to 99 are considered as invalid for the order, and error message will appear. Okay, what is the error? Only the 10 pizza can be ordered. Okay, so here what are the valid inputs? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, up to 10 are the valid inputs, and invalid are like 11 to 100. These are the 99 as per the condition. These are invalid inputs. Okay, so here there are 10 valid inputs are there. So this is simple example. Suppose if I enter 8 and click on this submit button, then what is the a success message will show. Okay, if I add 18 here, then there will be a error message. So in equivalence class, mean there are two classes, valid and invalid. Any number greater than the 10 entered in the pizza text field is considered as invalid, and any number less than the 0 or below is considered as invalid. Okay. So here is the class partition, equivalence class partitioning. What is the equivalence class? Equivalence class. Okay. So 1 to 100. Okay, 1 to 100. It is a valid partition, and if it is less than 1, that is 0, that is invalid partition. And suppose if it is 11 to 99, that is also invalid. And here there are four test cases. Suppose why we are going for this equivalence class partitioning means, for example, in the partition 2, okay, what are the valid inputs? 1 to 10. Suppose if we test with input 8, then it is applicable to complete class. It is applicable to complete class. No need to check for all the 10 inputs. Okay, 1 to 10. If we test with any one of the input, then it is giving a valid input, and it gives like no need to go for all the inputs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, and here in the invalid also. Okay, so in invalid case, so what is the expected output in invalid? It should give a error message. We suppose if you are entered 20, then it should give a error message. So with one input, that is a 20, it is applicable to complete class. No need to test for all these 80 inputs. No need to test, or all these 90 input. No need to test. Okay, even if you provide 1000, then that is a different class. Okay, so we cannot test all the possible values. We cannot test all the possible values, because if done, the number of test cases will be more than 100. Okay, so that is the main advantage of this equivalence class testing, is that one of the input from the valid or invalid class we use for the testing. So we use equivalence partitioning hypothesis, where we divide the possible values of tickets into the groups. Possible values of the tickets into groups or sets shown below. Okay, so I hope you are clear with this example. So equivalence class partitioning or equivalence class, we pick a one value from each partition. We pick a one value from each partition for the testing, and hypothesis behind this technique is that if one condition or the value in the partition that passes, all others will also pass. Okay, suppose here if I provide 7 as the input for the pizza, okay, I am booking for the pizza. This is a particular field. If I provided 7 pizzas order, then this particular, okay, this condition, it is valid, because 1 to 100 is valid, 1 to 10 is valid. Okay, so 7 indicates, so it's one of the input in the valid test cases. Okay, so no need to test for 1 to 10, only 1. Okay, so that is about the advantage of, if one of the test fails, like for example, if the condition in one partition fail, then all other condition in that partition will also fail. Okay, so that is about the equivalence class partitioning. This you should keep in mind. अभी क्या होता है, अभी suppose 11 to 99 में, suppose if it is working for, अभी 88 input दिया है and it is accepting means there is a mismatch. mismatch in the actual and even 88 दिया तो भी वो order हो रहा है, pizza order हो रहा है 88. Then how there is error? Error means expected and actual output में कुछ difference आया तो, expected output and actual output में कुछ difference आया तो there is a error. Okay, so if any one from the set passes the test, then old set of partition is considered as a pass or valid. ओके अभी 1 to 10 में से कौन सा एक पार्टीशन अभी 3 डाला तो 3 डाला इट इज वैलिड. ओके 3 इनपुट प्रोवाइड किया तो and it is there is a match in the expected and actual output, then it is a success. So similar to that, I hope it is clear. Okay, it is clear to all the equivalence class partitioning. Okay, suppose here, like for example, okay, bus reservation. Okay, number of seats. Okay, so number of seats is it should accept from 1 to 8. Yes, so what are the valid input? Yes, Abhishek, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What are the valid
1, 2,
inputs?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, sir.
Okay, 1 to 8 are valid
8
partition.
valid.
Then
Yes, sir.
invalid.
Less than 0 or less than 1 are
Hmm.
invalid, sir.
Okay,
And
then
greater than 8 are also invalid.
okay, 8 to suppose 100 or 1012. Okay, that is invalid. Okay, then suppose if there is a age like uh, age of the person, like in the COVID registration. Okay, suppose if the like 18 to 45. So in this case means in this particular it should accept only 18 to 45 the age of a person. What is the valid? Yes, Abhishek.
18 to 45 is valid, and less than 18 means 17 to less are invalid.
Hmm.
And if age is greater than 45, then also invalid. In 46 and above, yes, and 17 and below.
Below 17.
Yes.
So what is the advantage here? Uh, so what is the advantage? Means इसका equivalence का advantage क्या है? Like so instead of testing with all the inputs, तो यहाँ किसी भी एक suppose हमने 20 provide किया. So for this 20, it is a valid input, and with one value, this complete class. Okay, it is applicable to the complete class. No need to go for, no need to check for the 41, 42, 43. So even for the invalid also, in the invalid case, 46 and above, suppose if I have provided 89 each, okay, so it is also, it should give the invalid. Suppose if it is showing the valid, then this complete class, okay, it is giving the error message, so we need to check for that. So that is about black box testing technique. Then boundary value analysis. So you test the boundaries between the equivalence partition. Okay, it is a extension, we can say it is a extension of the equivalence class partitioning. Okay, boundary value analysis, you test the boundary between the equivalence partition. Okay, you test boundaries between the equivalence partition. Okay, so here is the case, like 1 to 10, this is the partition. So what are the boundaries here? Boundary is 1, this is also the boundary, the 10 is the boundary value. Okay, so boundary value analysis means we will take the boundary value of the equivalence class. Okay, so 0, 1, 10, 11, 99. Okay, we are testing with the boundary values. So in earlier equivalence class partitioning example, instead of checking the one value for each partition, you will check the value of partitions like 0, 1. अभी हम क्या करें, वहाँ इक्वलेंस में क्या करते थे, मिडल वैल्यू लेते थे, बट यहाँ कैसा है, we need to check the values at the partition like these boundary values 0, 1, 10, 11 and so on. So you may observe your test values at both valid and invalid boundaries. Okay, that is also called as a range checking. Okay, range checking. Okay, so here we can see the boundary values for boundary value. Yes, Rutuja Paratwar. Rutuja, can you hear me? Rutuja. Yes, Rutuja Paratwar. Meet. Meet, can you hear me? Harish Jain, Abhijit Joshi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So anyone can tell the what are the boundary values here for this case? Here there are partitions are there. Okay, the partitions. So like boundary value is like 17. Okay, you can unmute someone. 45, 46. Okay, so these are the some boundary values. Okay, we are checking the particular field with the boundary values. So that is the difference between the equivalence class partitioning and boundary value analysis. Okay, suppose if you consider with this particular sheet, okay, 1 to 8. So here what are the boundary values? Boundary values are like 0, 1, 8. Okay, here it should be 9. Okay, 9, and if you consider 99, so these are the boundary values. So by using those boundary values, we test. These are the input. We are not testing here with suppose if you provide 7 means if it is working for these two inputs, then 7 also a valid input. Okay, equivalence class में क्या होता था, we are testing any one of the input from the class. Boundary value में क्या होता है, we are testing with the boundary values. Okay, if 9 if it is 9, if it is given that is the correct test case with respect to the invalid input, then it is applicable to the complete class. Okay, so that is about the boundary value analysis. So we'll see one more example, equivalence class and boundary values. The following password field accepts minimum 6 characters. It accepts the minimum 6 characters and maximum 10 characters. So minimum कितना रहना चाहिए, 6, maximum 10. So this means that the partitions, like, see, this is the valid input. 6 to 10 means valid input, and it is invalid. 6 to 10 means valid input, and it is invalid. 10 to 11 means valid input, and it is invalid. 11 to 12 means valid input, and it is invalid. 12 to 13 means valid input, and it is invalid. 13 to 14 means valid input, and it is invalid. 14 to 15 means valid input, and it is invalid. 15 to 16 means valid input, and it is invalid. 16 to 17 means valid input, and it is invalid. 17 to 18 means valid input, and it is invalid. 18 to 19 means valid input, and it is invalid. 20 to 21 means valid input, and it is invalid. 21 to 22 means valid input, and it is invalid. 22 to 23 means valid input, and it is invalid. 23 to 24 means valid input, and it is invalid. 24 to 25 means valid input, and it is invalid. 25 to 26 means valid input, and it is invalid. 26 to 27 means valid input, and this is also invalid. Invalid means while creating a password. Okay, if there are seven inputs, then it is valid. If there are 8 inputs, then also it is valid. Okay, so in this way you need to write the test cases. Okay, so the test scenario, test description, like for example in the this is the first tutorial assignment, in that you have to do this kind of task. The test scenario description, like enter 0 to 5 characters in the password field. Okay, so the system should not accept. That is our expected outcome. If we are providing, means it should give error message. That is our expected. And suppose if there is a 6 to 10 characters in the password field, then the system should accept. Okay, suppose here the username, I have provided some username like bbc@gmail.com. Then in the password field, okay, in the password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So once we click on this submit button, it should accept, because how many in characters are there? 7. Okay, so in this way we need to write the test cases. Okay, we need to write the test cases. Okay, so in the next class we will also continue. Okay, in the next class we will continue the remaining